Well, the subject is start it now. Well, I'm 58 years old. When I was 19, Renee and I got married and we began investing. Yes, out of my paycheck at one of my two jobs, I began investing $3.75 a week and saving and investing for our future. And we got in the stock market in mutual funds, and I advocate mutual funds. And of course, the Bible, the greatest financial book in all the world, teaches you to save, to live within your means, to look well to your finances. And so Renee and I got started. Here all these years later, we're still investing. Right now it's 2022 in America. And the stock market is jumping around a lot. Are we investing any right now? Yep. When the stock market really fell back in March of 2020, when the pandemic in America started, did we invest? Oh yeah. I put $4,000 in right at the beginning of the pandemic, right when the market really dropped. I felt like that was a great time that it went on sale. Just the other day, my wife and I, we were talking, and we said, the market is on sale. Now is the time to buy, not the time to cash out. It's the time to buy. And the stock market these last few days jumping around. Now look, I don't like to buy when it's up. I like to buy when it's down. And we're not withdrawing anything out of our mutual funds and all that. Those are for retirement years. And I'll remind you, the Bible never uses the term retirement. Until I die, I want to serve God. But there will come a time when I cannot travel like I am right now. Last year I went to 127 churches. The year before that, in 2020, 131 churches. I'm traveling hard, and travel is hard. The other night, I spent the night in the New York airport, and my flight got canceled, and I could not go anywhere, and I spent the night in a wheelchair. I was glad to have a chair, and I found a wheelchair. And when I got to my meeting the next day at noon, the preachers at that next meeting said, well, Brother Fox, you don't look like you slept at the airport. I said, there's a reason. I didn't sleep. Spent the night at the airport, but didn't sleep. But we're talking about getting started now. Whatever age you are, if you've never started saving, you need to do so now. The Bible teaches to save. Live within your means and save for the future and save for those emergencies and so forth. And I want to show you an astounding little chart that I put together. How can $10 become $530? How can $100 become $5,300? How can $1,000 become $53,000? Well, how could $10,000 become $530,000? Now, look, these get-rich-quick schemes, I don't do anything with those things. No. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is not true, or at least it probably is not honest. Now, I'm talking about how can we honestly go from $10 to $530, or that bottom one, going from $10,000 to $500,000. How? I did that using an investment calculator based on two things. Starting at age 20 and ending at age 70. 50 years of investing. Now, here's how I did it. That was what the opening investment became all on its own. Let me explain. You put $10 in to a mutual fund that for 50 years makes an average of 8%. And I think that's very doable. Yes, I've had years that I made 30%. I've had other years in the negative, but overall, we've averaged better than 8%. So I think 8% is realistic. I live in the realistic side of life, not idealistic. I've told you over and over, God is realistic, not idealistic. And so $10 actually does become $530 after 50 years invested at 8% interest. And if your mutual fund makes 8% gain, both through dividends and through capital gains, that's very realistic. Very, very realistic. $10,000 becomes $530,000. If 50 years ago you had put $10,000 into a mutual fund, today, worth $500,000. Wow. Could that make a difference in someone's retirement years? Well, absolutely. In 2022, $500,000 can make a huge difference in your retirement. Oh my, yes. And I know because of inflation that money's losing its buying power and all that. My main thrust of today's video is to tell you, get started. The time to start is today. You wish you'd done it yesterday, but if you didn't do it yesterday, get started today. You've got to get started. And now once you get started, you got to continue. The word continue is a beautiful word in the Bible. Continue thou in the things thou hast learned. That's what the old preacher Paul said to young Timothy, the preacher boy. Continue. Well, same things for the investor. Continue. I'm talking about the saver. Now, are we just trying to hoard money? Well, I hope not. That is not the goal. No, you're to save so you can live within your means and so that you can take care of yourself and be responsible. I believe in the responsibility of the individual. I'm not looking to the government to take care of all my needs. Stop that. Do not think that way. It's not the government's job to take care of all my needs. Some people think that way. Stop it. Now look, I'm glad we help the helpless, but I'm a little sick of helping able-bodied men. An able-bodied man who refuses to work is a bum. I stand by that statement. I think men are supposed to work. But there will come a time, if you live long enough, that you won't physically be able to work. Or there will be times that you'll be so sick or in the hospital. I got a dear friend who's in the hospital. He's been in the hospital about 10 days. He's not been able to do work these last 10 days. He's a preacher. And the next several weeks, it's not looking good for him to do much work. Now, he is a worker. Thank God I've got a lot of preacher friends who are workers, and God expects his people to be workers. But the time to start is now, and you're not doing this to hoard. You're doing this so you can give, and so you can pay your bills, and be a responsible man, to be a responsible leader of your family, to be a responsible adult, and not look for everybody else to take care of you. You should be able to take care of yourself, plus be able to give to those who can't take care of themselves. Now, we've had Roe versus Wade in our country get overturned, and I'm ecstatic about that. And there's been this allegation going on that, well, you Christians, you wanted Roe versus Wade overturned, but you don't like to take care of babies after they're born. That is a lie. I'm a little tired of hearing that too. Do you know that Christians, by and large, more than 2 times the number of other people that are not Christians, Christians 2 times more likely to adopt a child than people who are not Christians? That's a fact. And the most giving people I know are Christians. And Jesus himself said it's more blessed to give than to receive. And no one's more qualified to talk about giving than Jesus. So I want you to make an investment. as God allows. Now, don't steal from your tithes or your offerings to do that. You know, cut back some of your expenses, earn some money. See, a lot of people's problem is not that they don't spend properly, they don't earn enough. Get you an extra job. Get you a raise. Be so productive that you get a bonus. I'm telling you, employers, they love employees that are faithful and are MIH kind of people. MIH, what do I mean? What do I mean? Make it happen kind of people. And they give bonuses to those kind of folk. Look, 10% becomes $10 becomes $530. $10,000 becomes over $500,000 if you put it in now at age 20. Now, many of you are not age 20. You're older than that. All right, get started and do something. And of course, this is all based on making a one-time investment. Don't make a one-time investment. Invest a little bit every month. Some people invest every week. And so work at it. Get completely 100% out of debt. Amen to that. And then, make sure you're tithing and make sure you're giving offerings. But make sure you're saving for your retirement years and saving for a crisis. On average, every decade in a man's life, he's going to have a crisis, a financial crisis. There'll be a health issue. There'll be some kind of issue besides just routine things. There are routine things. You know, on average, you're going to put a roof on 2 or 3 times during the course of your life. They don't last forever. If you get 20, 25 years out of your roof, praise God. But you're going to have to replace the roof on your house. It's going to happen. And you need to be saving for these things. Your refrigerator is going to go out. Your hot water heater is going to quit. You have to replace those things. And so you have your contingency funds, all that. But in addition to having all your contingency fund, make some long-term investment. Look at that. $10 becomes $530. $10,000 becomes over $500,000. If some of my young friends, somehow, you that are 19 years old, if you could scrape together and work hard and somehow honestly earn $10,000 and invest in mutual funds. Now, I'm going to go ahead and reveal that I have grand total put $600 into cryptocurrency. I put it in, put $100 in, it made some money. I put in a little more, and then I got it out because I don't understand cryptocurrency. I'm not going to put big money into cryptocurrency. Now, you might. Right now, I know a lot of my friends wish they had never put money in cryptocurrency because they've lost so much money in Bitcoin and all those others. I'm glad that I put my 600 in. I got a little more than 600 out. I'm glad. I made a tiny return and I got out. And one time as a young man, I put $100 into a high-risk global fund. Yeah, it was high risk. I put $100 in. Short time later, it was worth $500 and I took it out. I'm not comfortable with high risk. Now, I've got a little of our cash into moderate risk mutual funds. And I got some in moderate mutual funds and some in pretty safe. Though it is not making a lot, it's pretty safe. It's not been nearly as volatile. Mutual funds. And I've got a little bit in individual stocks, and I've got a little bit in REITs, REITs, the Real Estate Investment Trust, and I've got a little bit in ETFs, yeah. But most of our savings, I got a little bit in CDs. Yeah, CDs, they're boring, yeah. But while the stock market is falling, Those CDs are still climbing a tiny little bit. CDs, they're safe as far as not going down in value. But brother, you're going to lose money buying power with those things. I've got them just to sort of balance out my portfolio. I guess maybe at age 58, I've got enough money to qualify with the statement portfolio. I'm a small investor. I'm not a big investor. You know what I want to give most to? The cause of Christ. And by the grace of God, every single year, my wife and I have been able to start giving more and more and more money. And I've got a lifetime goal of how much I want to give. And this year looks like we're going to make some good progress toward it. The lifetime goal is big. I'm not ready to tell it to you. In fact, I'm thinking that I need to raise it because I believe I'm going to hit it, and I'm not going to be satisfied with it. I can already tell. If I hit it, I'm going to be very thankful. I don't know if I'll live another day to make one more gift in the beautiful cause of Christ. I hope I get to live to hit my goal. But now I'm wondering if I shouldn't double my goal. The goal is already huge. It's bigger than I ever dreamed. But it looks like maybe I'll get to hit it. And if God lets me live another 20 years or 25 years, I might be able to double it. You know, the older you get, the more funds you should have at your disposal if you've invested properly all life long. So the key is get started now. Get started now. You see, age 20. If you're 20 years old, get started. I told you at age 19, I was putting in $3.75 a week. Yeah. Big money. Well, it was money going in the right direction. And I've told you in some of our videos at age 30, we had a giant catastrophe and a real setback, as some folk would say. And we went down to about $5 left. Mortgages and all that kind of stuff. Basically got restarted at age 30. Had some real issues. Got restarted at age 30 now, 28 years ago. About 28 and a half years ago. Got restarted. And God has helped us every step of the way. God has been so good. We've been trying to work. We've been trying to follow His Bible. I haven't perfectly followed the Bible. I wish I had. The Bible's great. Everything about the Bible is great. And I want you to aspire to follow the Bible in everything, including about your finances. I'm trying to do some of these financial videos, sort of like a dad talking to a son. Kind of like a granddad talking to all the grandchildren, trying to pass on some wisdom, some understanding, some discernment that I've gotten from others. By the grace of God, my dad has taught me, my dad and mom, faithful in the cause of Christ, faithful givers, honest folk, paid their bills, lived within their means. They taught me a lot about finances. And there's a lot of children and young people and teenagers and millennials, they don't have a dad to teach them. And so I'm trying to do what I can to be a help to those that are younger than I, that I hope that this truly will help you. Get started. I've said that several times. I made a video a while back named RAF, Ready, Aim, Fire. You got to get started. The time is now. And there's so many good investments that you can invest in, and over the long term. Now, short term, you may have some losses. You may put some money in today and it'd be less tomorrow in mutual funds. Don't panic over that. You get into mutual funds for the long term. You save for the long term. Oh, you save in your passbook savings. That's what I call it. You save for short-term things there. You know, you're saving up to to buy that refrigerator. You're saving up to buy a shotgun. You're buying up to save whatever. You save up money for those things, and you just put it in a regular old savings account, making point nothing interest. I know, yeah. And you accumulate it there. You just put cash in your billfold. If you have a billfold, you have cash in it. Okay, that's all right. Save like that for those acquisitions that you're trying to make